Tarzan's dad decides to wait until the ship is entirely engulfed in flames and has tilted basically 90 degrees to abandon ship. The point of no return was a good 15 minutes ago, Dad.
2 worlds, 1 family.
This happy family song almost makes me forget that 50 or more souls surely just died in that fiery ship drowning. Oh well, I feel poppy.
Beneath the shelter of the trees.
Goddamn, have you ever seen a movie that opened with 5 minutes of narration in song? Aside from Les Mis, of course. I love how these two crash landed here and are instantly like, well, better build a killer treehouse, instead of like, well, better build a killer signal fire. Priorities, man. What does Disney have against wild cats? Sabor, Shere Khan, Tigger? Watch Winnie the Pooh again. You'll see what I mean. This is sad and all, but it seems to be a result of poor planning on the gorillas' part. They couldn't have someone keeping watch or something? It's the f***ing jungle. It's a leopard-eat-baby gorilla world out there. The movie made me do research on gorillas' hearing abilities. Newsflash, they're not as good as ours, so there was no f***ing way she could hear a baby crying halfway across the jungle. Okay, so if I understand the movie correctly, she literally just lost her child. Then she went on a wild rampage looking for the source of this non-gorilla child screaming noise, and now she's gonna adopt this kid, even though we never saw his parents die or even face adversity. Do I have that right? Because if so, f*** this movie. Tarzan's parents sure have a lot of even though their entire ship burned and sank. Does this movie really expect me to believe that all these linens, feather pillows, books, clocks, armoires, rope, hats, frames, and so on just washed up on the beach so they could build this fucking mansion in the trees? It's super convenient for the story that Sabor killed only Kala's baby and Tarzan's parents. How long have Tarzan and his parents been here? It probably would have taken them at least a few months to get their house ready. And maybe a few more months for the vines and to grow around their house. Yet baby Tarzan looks like he hasn't grown a fucking day since they were shipwrecked. This kid should be bigger and walking around and right? Kala forgot she was a gorilla, an animal that is comfortable enough with poop to put it in its hands and throw it. There is no reason for her to be disgusted by a baby's diaper. If anything, she should remove the diaper because she doesn't understand its purpose. I'm no expert, but I imagine a gorilla would mostly own a leopard in a fight. Please discuss this scenario further in the comments. I'm starting to think baby Tarzan is incapable of crying. I don't care how tough this kid is, a leopard-gorilla fight would scare the out of any baby. This net is here because when Tarzan's parents were building the place, they thought, we should put a net here, because if we're ever killed and our baby gets rescued by a gorilla, we don't want our baby falling to his death when said gorilla is fighting the leopard that killed us.
That I got a little bit sidetracked.
That's racist.
Yeah, it's freaky looking, okay? That's what it is.
That's even more racist.
Kala, it won't replace the one we lost.
As a husband, let me just say, this asshole has no idea how to husband.
Was it alone?
Interestingly, in real life, silverbacks have multiple mates, though this movie will attempt to make you think this one male is bonded to this one female in monogamy.
I said he could stay. That doesn't make him my son.
Dad?
I'm gonna call him Tarzan.
Roll credits, but please do so in a Phil Collins song, please. I applaud her efforts to save and raise this obviously non-gorilla baby, but what's she gonna do when that diaper gets full? Does she even know how to make new diapers? Does she have an Amazon Prime account set up to ship diapers every month? I mean, she's buried in poop in 3 days, no? And what should turn into a hilarious farce about an ape changing diapers and wrangling up juice boxes for this asshole kid instead just jumps ahead in years like there were no issues, and Tarzan is now a badass without any learning curve whatsoever. It's good Tarzan's parents are dead, because they just want to build a house in that tree. Ah, sugar gliders! Wait, sugar gliders don't have evil red glow-in-the-dark eyes. They're actually lovable and awesome. F*** you, movie. Tarzan, raised by animals almost his whole life, still needs a modesty loincloth.
I sure scared you, Mom.
Oh, you sure did.
Mostly by aging so many years overnight.
Want to see me be a leopard?
A leopard killed your parents and you don't know it.
Oh, thank goodness you're all right.
Aw man, Rosie O'Donnell dragged the movie into this, didn't she?
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Proof my brother descended from apes. Tarzan survives this. Tarzan learns how to swim after watching a hippo swim for 2 seconds. Based on this film and the Jungle Book, Disney clearly thinks that all elephant herds have only one young male. It would explain why they're endangered.
But what about bacteria?
The study of bacteria reached a civilization untouched by man.
Piranha! It's a piranha!
This asshole elephant kid knows what piranhas are, or at least thinks he does.
There are no piranhas in Africa.
And how does he even know their name then?
And of course there are piranhas in Africa.
No, she's right. They're native to South America.
How do any of you know any of this shit? You're fucking elephants in the early 1900s.
Kala, look at him. He will never be one of us.
This silverback is both racist and correct. You get a waterfall, and you get a waterfall, and you get a water... How in the f*** did this jungle-raised man-cub child manage to see the movie Predator?
I'll be the best ape ever.
Wait a second, I've been nervous all video about how to refer to these primates. Apes, gorillas, monkeys, etc. And I assumed, by the inclusion of a silverback alpha male, this movie was telling me they were gorillas. But this f***ing kid casually calls them all apes, basically, and the movie does not object. So, at a minimum, I should be given free reign in this Sins video to call them whatever the hell monkey name I choose to call them, right? How many f***ing bananas did these assholes have piled up and ready to eat? Jesus. They go bad, you know. This gator situation is way more deadly than anything Tarzan faces in this entire movie. But because it's part of a happy montage, it's treated as a playful game. Whatever. Tarzan's dead, yo. This ain't Pitfall. Hilarious moment of nearly killing the silverback. It's like this movie takes the totally believable premise of apes raising a human and then shits all over the realness of it with crap like this. Tarzan is a dick to animals, basically. Man, Disney Animation f***ing loves aging a character up through song and visual transition. I don't care how awesome a feral man-beast you are, that waterfall would knock him on his ass. Tree surfing. The high-end lifespan of a leopard is 17 years. There's no way Tarzan is only 17 years old. It's a shame that apes arbitrarily cannot talk to the leopard like they can talk to other species. If they could, they may be able to work something out.
It wasn't me, I swear.
No one will be seated during the fart joke portion of the movie. These humans, who we later see are a rather small party, are causing big herd of elephant-type rumbling in the trees.
Daddy, what's all the hullabaloo about?
I get that this takes place a long time ago, but it still seems weird to me that Jane would wear her bell dress on a hike through the woods. This guy is a super discount Gaston. Considering that he's shooting mostly blind, that was a damn good shot. If Tarzan wasn't made of rubber, this movie would be over now.
There you go, what do you think?
No one in the goddamn world can draw monkeys that quickly.
Come to study gorillas and get my sketchbook pinched by a baboon.
Lady, if you think that thing was a baboon, you have no business researching gorillas.
I want this paper on the count of 3.
Jane assumes this baboon knows how to count to 3. I'd write a sin about this spinning bullshit, but I threw up during it, so that's the sin. This works somehow. Cartoon character gradually floats down to the ground by way of umbrella cliche.
It can't get any worse, can it? I mean...
Disney timing. Well, clearly, he's just listening for her heartbeat, but still, I think ear-to-breast contact is typically something that occurs on the 3rd date. I mean, in my experience, it was a 16th date, but I'm pretty sure I'm an outlier.
It's very nice.
It's very nice.
This is the equivalent of me hearing one sentence in Mandarin one time and then repeating it back perfectly.
Yes! Clayton! Wonderful!
Did Tarzan just perfectly mimic the sound of a gunshot? He's the Michael Winslow of the jungle. This is a party of 3 people, one of whom went missing with Tarzan, so 2 people set all this up after the female of the group went missing. Who takes a goddamn grandfather clock on an overseas voyage to study gorillas? Hilarious. Beauty and the Beast nod is hilarious. Thanks for adding to the runtime of this movie, previous better movie. I love how these 3 human f***ers took the time to start some red liquid dripping chemistry experiments before they left to explore the jungle. Turk would f***ing rule at CinemaSins. Physics. Blowing through a gramophone horn will not sound like a muted trumpet. It will mostly just sound like normal blowing. This song is actually pure gibberish. Bravo, Disney. Bravo. It's the ooh 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 wanna be like you for a new generation. Instead of f***ing her pants, this gal merely falls down, which is sinful as f***, because anyone in that position in real life would f*** their pants. Case closed.
Do not let them see you and do not seek them out.
They mean us no harm.
I feel like the movie is trying to paint Kerchak as the judgmental bad guy in this situation, but he couldn't be more f***ing right.
Tarzan, I don't know that.
But I do. I've spent time with them.
You really haven't. You've briefly spent time with one of them, and she just happens to be the young woman who is really hot. And on top of that, you've never seen a human woman before, so your judgment is severely impaired. Disney Animation in the late 90s f***ing loved them some giant forearms. Wow, this super daughter who rules at science and intelligence is also an amazing artist. She should work for Disney.
His eyes were intense and focused and...
Oh, shall I leave you and the blackboard alone for a moment?
Okay, first of all, she's a lady and does not discuss her masturbation habits with anyone. Second of all, how the f*** do you think she's gonna get off with a f***ing chalkboard? Third of all, are you not her father? Shouldn't you be jailed for even making this comment? Fourth, and finally, what the f***, Disney? Tarzan should not be fascinated by a mustache. Tarzan should have a full beard.
If I can teach a parrot to sing God Save the Queen, I can certainly teach this savage a thing or two.
That is a fallacy of logic. One thing has nothing to do with the other. Also, I'd like some proof on that parrot God Save the Queen claim before moving any further forward, because I think you're much too vain to ever lower yourself enough as to teach a parrot. Overuse of montages. Okay, we're headed to the African jungle in search of apes. Let's definitely remember to pack the entire history of mankind on film, just in case we bump into any man-ape hybrids along the way. We've taken nearly an hour to get here. Let's go super speed through Tarzan's humanification. Wait, it's bad enough they brought a zoetrope of this bicycle, but they actually brought an actual life-size version of it? And he's supposed to be riding it along mossy tree branches? You know what? F*** you, movie. I'm sick of your shit. You contain a lot of shit. Tarzan's boner control is on point. Or I guess in this instance, it's not on point.
Do you understand?
I understand.
He learned their language in, what? I mean, how many weeks of provisions could they possibly have for this expedition? 3? He's Forrest Gump meets Travolta from Phenomenon times Data from Star Trek. Jesus. This movie should come with a warning for people with epilepsy. This guy way overpours these wine glasses. What the hell am I doing with my life? It's only important to Tarzan that Jane stays, right? So why did he have to bring the professor and Clayton along? Better yet, why didn't he just convince Turk to go up with him to the camp so Jane could see a gorilla instead of bringing them all back to the habitat? Science fainting.
Oh, Master, you're such a tease.
Why does every Disney character caught waking up and half dreaming always seem to have sex on the brain? The professor's pockets must have the same powers as Mary Poppins' bag. Perhaps that's an English thing. Movie thinks any kind of human could subdue and hold back a silverback gorilla. Movie is stupid. The old Disney I've done something bad so now I must run away cliché. We really should hand it to Tarzan Sr. for building this place. He built a house out of water-damaged, charred pieces of wood that stayed structurally sound for over 20 years. Also, Tarzan has been able to run all over the jungle his entire life and never once found this treehouse. Loincloth upgrade. Big gorillas don't cry, because gorillas actually physically cannot cry. Tarzan did a great job of figuring out cufflinks for someone who's never worn clothes before. This could almost be the end of the movie, where Tarzan realizes he's human and joins the other humans. And I could make an argument that maybe it should be, but honestly, I'm kinda tired. No. F***ing f*** you, movie, you f***ing f***nut asshole dickweed. Movie wants me to believe that Tantower, using his elephant hooves, climbed up that chain and onto this ship. Good work, Tarzan. Do your yells so they know to look for you. Taking them by surprise would be too easy. Tarzan saw paranormal activity.
Forgive me for not understanding that you have always been one of us.
This is a total bullshit change of heart. Kerchak was right to distrust the humans. The majority of humans they've encountered tried to kidnap and kill them. If anything, he should distrust them even more.
Jane, dear, I can't help feeling that you should stay.
It's every Victorian father's dream to leave his daughter behind in the jungle so she can f*** an ape man, and probably die of disease or childbirth within the year. I don't care how much you love someone, you should always love civilization more.
Jane says, I'm done with Sergio.
My baby, be still, love, don't cry.
Mail him to me. When you try and find him, well,
At my
he
house. I really
won't be there.
If I don't get my shot,
But when you're feeling blue and a little bit scared,
Why are there so many songs about rainbows?
Refreshments are available in the lobby. And please, keep our theater clean by disposing of trash in specified containers.
We have chosen not only to believe in ourselves, but in each other. Today, there's not a man nor woman in here that shall stand alone.
With an exhilarating, cool, minty taste.
Apes, follow. Go by now. And always shall be your friend.
Let's get this movable feast underway.